Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to the SCORE Social Media Advertising webinar. I'm your host, Craig Malmloff, and for over the past 15 years, I've been doing strategic marketing, consumer product, and service development. I'm excited to be volunteering with SCORE and helping with this Zoom webinar. For those of you that don't know about SCORE, for over the past 50 years, SCORE has served as America's premier source of free business mentoring and education. As part of the U.S. Small Business Administration, or SBA, SCORE has helped more than 11 million entrepreneurs through mentoring, workshops, and educational resources since 1964. You can schedule a free 1-hour phone or video mentoring session at indianapolis.score.org. So some basics about this Zoom webinar. Participants have been muted and there is no video, so don't worry about your pajama bottoms or people in your background. We'll be utilizing the chat feature in the bottom of your screen. Feel free to say hello or ask questions in the chat. We will handle some of them during the presentation and most of them at the end. This webinar is being recorded and the recording link as well as the presentation slides will be available online as well. We have a great audience today, so over 50 people returning from the previous Marketing Basic webinar and over 100 new people also. So we have people across central Indiana, some of them in neighboring states, and then as far as California and Vermont. So welcome everybody and thanks for joining. With that, I'd like to introduce our main presenter today. So Toya Wilson-Smith, she's our keynote speaker, digital marketing consultant, and a brand storyteller. She's taught over 1,500 service-based business owners on how to create winning social media advertising campaigns to attract new customers. With that, I turn it over to Toya.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that you can hear me. And in just a second, you will be able to see me as we talk about social media advertising during challenging times. Thank you to Craig for a wonderful introduction and going over those housekeeping notes during our time together today. Please, again, if you have any questions or just want to say hello to Craig and I during the webinar, do so in the chat. We will be checking the chat periodically through our webinar and then taking all of your questions at the end. Now, let's talk about our agenda for about the next 60 minutes that we are together. I want to share with you some social media advertising statistics, the process for successful advertising online, how to set up ad campaigns both on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, some free tools that you can use to minimize your budget, and then I will turn it back over to Craig to discuss the case study and next steps. Now, this will be a pretty engaging webinar as far as webinars can be engaging. So with that being said, let me share a quote from you with you that I've actually used both in my professional and personal life. Wayne Dyer, a spiritual teacher, a motivational speaker, and a New York Times best-selling author said this: when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Therefore, regardless of what you have thought about social media marketing and or advertising in the past, I ask you to come to this webinar with a new set of eyes and ready to implement just some of the strategies we will share with you today. Now, let's talk about some of the social media advertising statistics. And this is the engaging part of our webinar. So in the chat, I want you to give us your answers to the next few questions. The first quiz question, which no, it's not for a grade, and unfortunately we don't have any prizes that we're giving away today, but let's have fun anyway. What is the organic reach of a social media post? Now let me explain for some of you that may not know the term organic. Organic means that it's just a piece of content, whether it's a video, an image or a video with text or an image with text that you put on your social media fan pages. Is that reach, right? So no ad money has been spent. So just normal reach. Is it A, between 5 to 10%? Is it B, 20% of your total page followers will see that post? Or is it C, between 35 to 40%? So I'm going to give you all some time to put your answer in the chat. And then I want to see if most of you got it right. And yes, all of you are getting it right. It's A, between 5 to 10%. And right now, as of 2019, it was actually 6.4%. So that really does drive home our point of social media advertising and why you should be advertising right now on social media. If you're wondering how the cost is going to break down for you, what your budget should be, we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Now, question number 2 is, what is the most popular type of content on social media today? Is it A, the tried and true image post with text, how Facebook has been known since it launched? Is it B, video less than 90 seconds? Make sure you see the last part. Less than 90 seconds is going to be key. Or is it C, live streaming videos, right? So everybody can see your dog, in my case, walking behind you, or people maybe talking to you. So put your answer in the chat for me, and I'm going to give you just a few more seconds to get those answers in, A, B, or C. And let's check to see. Actually, most people are getting it right. B, video less than 90 seconds. Yes, that is the most popular type of content on social media today. It is video less than 90 seconds. Now, let me just give you a little bit more information about that. While it is B, video less than 90 seconds, you can go up to a couple of minutes before people will click away from your video. So you have about 2 minutes before people kind of get bored and decide, maybe 2 minutes and 45 seconds, that they're ready to move on. And if you think live streaming videos is second, it's not. It's third. Image post with text is still the second most popular type of content. Now, get ready for our final quiz question of the day. Quiz question number 3. How much should I spend for my monthly Facebook ad budget? And if you've been keeping up with Facebook in the last year or two, you do probably remember that Facebook can actually, the Facebook ad budget can be shared with Instagram as well. So when you are advertising on Facebook, you can actually pull from the same budget for Facebook and Instagram. So the question is, again, how much should you be spending for your monthly Facebook ad budget? Is it A, $300? The answers are already flying in. B, is it $1,000? Or is it C, it totally depends, I think, question mark. So let's see how many people get this one right. And this one, we're actually a little split. Some people say $300. Most people are saying it totally depends, I think. And if you were in the camp that said it totally depends, I think you are right. It does totally depend. It depends on your goals. It also depends on how good your ads are and how much engagement you're getting. And we're going to break that all down for you in just a little while later in our webinar. Now, let's talk about reasons to use social media ads. And most of the time, your reason is going to be one or more of the ones that you see listed on the screen. And by all means, this is not an exhaustive list. First and foremost, you want to attract high quality traffic to your website. So people that are looking for your products and services ready to buy. And you can do that when you target the right people on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube using custom audiences. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Secondly, you need to get more exposure, like social shares and engaging comments to increase sales, right? Word of mouth is not dead. It is very, very popular, and you can leverage social networking to explode word of mouth marketing for your brand. And then you want to improve your return on investment of time and money for advertising, both online and off. And then finally, you're really looking to earn 3 to 5 times your investment when you're using things like Facebook advertising and paying for landing pages like lead pages and possibly investing time like messenger ads. So let's talk about the digital advertising process. You first want to understand and know who your message needs to be in front of to really get people to part with their money, to pay for your products and services. And that is commonly called targeting. Who are you trying to get your message to get them to become a customer? Facebook offers some unique tools in that regard, such as messenger ads, such as the ability to upload your email list, such as retargeting people who have already visited your website or your Facebook page. After you know exactly who you're talking to, then you want to put together your ad campaign. And that consists of both your copy, so the text that you use, and your image or video. That's truly important because even if you show a message to the right people, if it's not the right message, it can fall flat. So you want to make sure that your ad, image, and copy will resonate with your target audience. And then you typically want those folks to take action. And that's where the landing page comes in. Whether it is buying something that is low ticket or a low dollar amount, or giving them your email address, or their email address, I should say, or phone number, so you can follow up and schedule an appointment to talk more about how your product or service can help them. Finally, most of the time we know it takes at least 7 to 10 times for a person to be exposed to your brand and your marketing message before they are ready to buy. It's almost like going out on a first date and having the person you're on a date with ask you to marry them, and you don't even know anything about them just yet, right? So retargeting allows you to consistently put your marketing message in front of the right group of people that may have expressed interest, but just was hesitant or needed some more information before they became a customer. Retargeting is a very good strategy to actually bring in more customers into your fold, especially during these times. Now, let's talk about some more tips for your social media ad campaign. And I want to delve a little bit more into detail. You have the ability to target specific interests, which is one of the reasons why marketers and business owners love Facebook advertising. And just in case you were wondering if ad costs have gone up because more people are going online to sell their products and services, it actually has gone down. Facebook and Instagram ad costs have decreased dramatically in the last 4 weeks. So now we're seeing people able to get clicks through to their website or landing page for 5 to 10 or 10 to 15 cents, when it normally is 85 cents to $1.15 or $1.20. So when you have the right message and you target the right people, you actually can do that for a lot less money than you could even 3 months ago. So make sure that you understand what I like to call your ideal client avatar, right? That customer that will sing your praises to all of their friends and family because they're super excited about the service that they received or about your product. And you have a ton of interest that you can target when you use Facebook ads. Secondly, you can use your customer list. Facebook calls it customer list. I call it your email list, right? So if you have an email list, particularly of 500 or more people, you can upload your email list and target those specific people. So those people that either purchased from you in the past or received something from you or maybe shopped with your store before and haven't done so in a while, you can actually start to show Facebook ads to that specific group of people. Then you can share promotions or discounts, right? And maybe because you shared it on your Instagram account, but it only reached a small amount of people, you can actually throw $10 or $20 at that promotion or discount and show it to more people to get more people interested in it. And then this one I really do like. You can run ads on Instagram as well. So the same ad that you are showing on Facebook with the same targeting specific interest, you can also show that to a different demographic on Instagram as well for the same budget. So if you're running an ad on Facebook for $20, you can also just check a box and say, show this ad on Instagram as well. Most people are using Facebook and thinking about Instagram as a second thought, but Instagram has proven that it's filled with people that are interested in buying and interacting with brands. And then finally, once you get an ad or an ad campaign that's working well, that is when it is time to scale. Start increasing your ad budget, because as you increase your ad budget, the more customers you will attract, the more money you will start to actually earn through sales, and that will pay for your Facebook advertising campaign. And then if for whatever reason your Facebook and or Instagram ad campaigns don't go as planned, the first, the second, or even the third time out, don't get frustrated and quit. Continue to do it, because I guarantee you, once it starts working for you, you will be happy that you took the time to implement social media advertising. Now, let's set up a Facebook ad. And because we only have a short time together, if you have any questions that are specific to your business or maybe a previous ad campaign that you've run, please feel free to drop that in the chat. Craig will be monitoring the chat for us. I am going to run through this information pretty quickly because we don't have a lot of time. But again, we will be taking questions throughout and mainly at the end. So let me show you a cheat sheet to a really well done Facebook ad creative. You can see by the image on the screen that number one, you want to optimize for placement. Now, most people are accessing Facebook even when they're at home, right? Through their mobile device. Usually their smartphone, sometimes their tablet, but 75% of the time it's through their smartphone. So you want to make sure that your image or video is optimized for mobile. Then you want to short and sweet headlines, something that drives your point home that people can scan and really understand what your ad is about. Hopefully, some people, when you launch your Facebook ad, within that first couple of hours, have engaged with it, and so you have evidence of social proof. Then as we go around the graphic image, you will see you need to have an action-oriented call to action, right? So a CTA. Do you want people to like the content? Do you want people to share a comment? Do you want people to click through to a landing page or to your website? Make sure you ask them to do something to show their genuine interest. Then you need to select a really great image or share a really good engaging video. So as you can see, bright colors really jump out and it will show what you're trying to position or sell. Now, I will say this in terms of images. Bright colors do work really well. However, with my clients in the last 6 to 7 months, we've been using black and white images, and that tends to work really well also. And here's the reason why. We're used to seeing color in our news feeds all the time, right? Most of the time, everything is in color. So black and white is a disruptive image because you're not accustomed to seeing it. So you stop for a few seconds to check it out. So you can test your creative. Finally, make sure that you answer the question or the reason why somebody should click or interact with your ad. Now, let me say that there are 2 ways to implement your Facebook ad campaign. A couple of years ago, there was an option or strategy that you could use called Boost Post, right? Which was a button below every post on your fan page or your business page. A couple years ago, I would say Boost Post was not a good option. Why? Because you didn't have the same type of choices when setting up the ad campaign as you did in the ads manager. But at that point, the ads manager was confusing and it was hard to navigate. So most people tried Boost Post, but they didn't get the results that they were hoping for. Now, Boost Post has so many more features than what it used to have that you can implement a simple ad campaign, especially if that organic post has started to prove itself. What do I mean? As you can see, you're looking at Weddings on a Budget by Danielle, which is a test Facebook fan page account that we set up just to test certain strategies. And what I mean by proving itself is if you share a Facebook post on your business page and it's getting organic reach, so you normally get 1 to 2, maybe 5 likes on a good day, right? And this particular post, for whatever the reason, is starting to resonate with your audience. More people are engaging with it, more people are sharing the content. So instead of getting the normal couple of likes, maybe no comments, no shares, you're getting 10 likes, 2 shares, and 3 comments. That is what I mean by proving itself. So you know that your audience is actually paying attention to that content, they're interacting with it, and they like it. So that means that if you actually boost that post, right, for $5 or $10 and show it to more people, drop a link into your website or landing page to either sell or collect their information to follow up, then you are on your way to having a successful advertising campaign with that particular piece of content because it's been proven that your audience is already interested in it. So how would you boost a post? On the left-hand side, and you can see where my cursor is, right, under objective, you would choose what your objective is. 90% of the time, it's going to be the first option. Get more people to react, comment, and share. And you can do that for $1 a day, right? The connecting chat with potential customers is all about creating a messenger ad, and you can automate that using a tool called Mobile Monkey or ManyChat. There are quite a few out there that you can use. Unfortunately, we don't have time to delve into detail today, but if somebody asks about that during the Q&A session, I'll be happy to elaborate. Now, this is the great part about Boost Post, because before you could only choose your fans or friends of fans in terms of audience. Now, the Boost Post feature gives you the option to target people in your audience for the Boost Post option. So you can see that you still have people who like your page, right, as an option. And if you have 5,000, 20,000, or 100,000 fans, people who like your page is a decent option to select. However, I'm going to recommend that you choose the first option, which is people you choose through targeting. Why? Because you can then use specific interests. So if I'm a restaurateur in Chicago, Illinois, per se, I may decide that I want to show this particular ad to people 18 to 65 living in Chicago who like, we'll say, Italian food or who are pizza lovers. So I'm narrowing down on a specific niche because that is where my interest lies in terms of attraction. Moving on, what you want to do is you want to keep automatic placements on because you want Facebook to place your ad in other places if that is what is chosen to do. And then I say in terms of duration, you want to select at least 3 days, right? So don't do 1 day, do at least 3 days. My preference is to always do 5 days for at least $10. Now, depending on what your budget is, you may choose to do $20, but at least $10 is the minimum that I would say you should go. Now, the last thing is you want to review and make sure that your budget is selected properly and it's what you want it to be. And then you want to make sure that you've signed up for a Facebook Pixel, especially if you're asking people, if you drop a link in that post that leads them to a landing page or a website, you want to actually have Facebook gather the tracking of those conversions because you want to know how many people actually clicked to that landing page or website and then review your payment. Click boost. Facebook will review it in probably now it's a little bit longer, an hour to an hour and a half, sometimes less. And then your Facebook boost post is live. Pretty simple and straightforward and easy to implement. Earlier, I promised that I would talk to you about Facebook costs and cost per click and what your ad budget should be. And most of you, not all of you, chose C, that your Facebook ad budget depends, right? Depends on what your goals are, depends on how much you have to spend. In this case, you can see based upon industry, what the average cost per click is and what the average click-through and conversion rates are. Now, those numbers are changing just a little bit because, like I said, right now, Facebook ad costs had decreased. So at any point, though, those numbers might shift, and it depends on what your industry is. But let me give you one little bit of advice, one piece of advice, little tidbit. If you're working on a minimal budget, right? So let's say you only have $30 or $50 to spend per month or per Facebook ad campaign. Facebook actually will show video ads for less money, significantly less in terms of average cost per click than image-based ads. Let me say that one more time. Facebook will actually charge you less money if you use a video in your ad versus an image. So you can actually choose in the ads manager the objective video views. And even up and through a couple of weeks ago, last week, we were getting video views for 1 cent per view with a click-through rate of 12%. So as you can see with the numbers, 12% in terms of a click-through rate is pretty doggone good when you look at the average, and it's much less. So video, if you're working on a minimal budget, is something that you should consider. Now, let's talk about the ads manager. Again, definitely a lot more involved than selecting to implement your ad campaign through Boost Post. But there are a couple of features that the ads manager will provide you that Boost Post does not. So if you're not particularly tech savvy, but you know that you need to start using advertising on social media to increase customers and revenue, then I suggest that you start with boost posts, get some traction, and then move to business man or the ads manager. If you are familiar though with advertising online, especially using Facebook and Instagram ads, then I suggest that you stay with the ads manager. And I have actually circled some of the things that you should be familiar with in the ads manager, or at least should be using. So in the second column under create and manage, that is where you're going to create your campaign in the ads manager. In the third column, measure and reports, you want to make sure that you are understanding where your ads can be improved before you scale them up. And that requires reviewing the ad reports on a regular basis. If you are sending traffic, so when people click on your Facebook or Instagram ad, if you're sending those people out of Facebook to your website or a landing page, you definitely want to implement a Facebook pixel, and that can be done where you see the pixels category or link selected. And then audiences under assets is something that you might want to pay attention to ensure that you're targeting the right folks. And then business settings and billing is something that you will need as well. So now let's create a simple ad really, really quickly. I'm just going to show you the steps right now. Choosing the objective is the first thing you need to do when you go into the ads manager. And there are arrows by the most popular types of ad objectives. So traffic is when you're sending, again, people outside of Facebook to a website or a landing page. Engagement is when you are just showing the Facebook post already done and you want likes, shares, comments on that particular Facebook post. Now remember, I told you that if you're working with a minimal or small budget, video views is the objective that you want to use, because you want people to watch your video and then take action, and you still are asking them to click through to a website or a landing page, but it's tied to, that call to action is tied to watching the video. Messages for a messenger campaign, especially if people are going to have questions, that is for, let's say you are selling a customized product. Like I had a client that did custom pens, ink pens, and he had to ask, well, what type of custom pen do you want from our website? And most people had questions about whether he can do a particular thing or not. And so automating that interaction is really good, and you can do that through a messenger campaign. And then conversions when you're selling something, again, straight off an e-commerce website. Now, once you have selected your objective, and we'll just say you selected traffic for the sake of argument, you are going to want to look at your budget. How much are you spending, right? Are you going to spend, we'll say $100 because you have a little bit more money, you have a bigger budget. But I would suggest, again, in terms of a daily budget, especially if you're testing Facebook and or Instagram ads, $10 a day is a good place to start. If you are like me and you may forget to turn your ads off, then you would definitely want to do a lifetime budget of $20 or $30. Now, in terms of traffic, most of the time people are going to send traffic to a website. Whether you're using a website or a landing page, doesn't matter. Website is going to be what you choose. At that point, you then want to leave everything turned off. So you see dynamic creative, you see offer. Those two options right there will actually stay turned off. Facebook actually sets it at an off default, so you don't need to mess with those unless you are an advanced marketer. I want to spend some time though in terms of talking about targeting. Targeting is super important, and it's probably just as important as when you are deciding what to show in your ad in terms of image, video, and the ad copy or text. So you can create a custom audience. Remember I said early on in our webinar that you could actually use your email list and upload your email list, right? and show your Facebook ads or your Instagram ads to people who have done business with you in the past or are already aware of your brand. However, there are also some other options that you may want to implement as well. So the first option is website traffic. Website traffic is really great because those people have already expressed interest, right? Sincere interest. So in terms of retargeting specifically, maybe they have left their cart, they've left some items in their cart, and you want to encourage them to go ahead and purchase those items. You can use website traffic as the basis for your custom audience. You can also use video. So anyone who has watched any of your videos for at least 5 to 10 seconds would fall under the video custom audience option. Then you can also have people for Instagram business. So people that are fans that are following you on Instagram, people that have expressed interest in one of your events, fans of your Facebook page, or anyone that has even visited on your Facebook page for 365 days ago. So anyone who has landed on your Facebook page within the last year are fair game for you to create a custom audience and use in terms of targeting with your Facebook ads. So it's a great opportunity for retargeting and exposing your brand to someone who has raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested, I would like to learn more, and did not become a customer. Now, once you have chosen your targeting and you can see that we have a circle around detailed targeting, you want to make sure that you actually choose specific interests that fit with your brand, your industry, your product, or your service. Once you have done that, you want to optimize for ad delivery, which is link clicks. You will keep lowest cost as the default there. And then you will move on to the fun part, which is creating the ad itself. Now, here is under the ad itself, under identity, is where you can actually show the same exact ad, not a different one, the same exact ad, the same image, the same ad copy, or the same video in Instagram. All you have to do is add your Instagram account. So you see I have the name of my business here as an example, and then I have the name of my Instagram account, and it will show your ad, right? The ad that you are about to create on both Facebook and Instagram, and it will pull from the same budget. So that's an important point. If your ad budget is $20, that's your lifetime budget, then it will use that same $20 for both Facebook and Instagram. Now, at the bottom or immediately below the identity is the format. So that's where you have the option to choose carousel, single image or video, or collection. Now, collection, mostly for fashion or apparel brands. Carousel can be used for a number of different things, but the most popular format is single image or video. Now, let me take the time to raise a point. Even though your ad is only going to show when you do single image or video, one image at a time, you can actually test multiple images. So if you wanted to test an image with a family, you can test the image with a family as one, and then you can click this plus sign where it says upload images up to 5 additional times, and it's going to pull from that same ad budget, and it's going to rotate for the first several hours, and then whichever image wins, that's the image that's going to be shown for the rest of the life of the ad. So if you're not sure exactly what type of imagery is going to work for your audience, you can test different images at this point. So it's a great feature that Facebook has added. Now, here's where you can choose the links. So the link type for your ad is typically going to be website. You can add your text here or your ad copy right below in that box. And then your website URL, you're going to actually enter the URL or the link to the website or landing page that the person who clicks in the ad is going to be taken to. Your headline is that short but impactful statement that I showed you in the Add Creative Image several slides ago. And then you can change the call to action button. And we're almost done. You're going to actually decide if you want the link description. You don't have to, but you can add that in. You want to also turn on your Facebook pixel because, again, you want Facebook to actually say, hey, we're tracking who clicks your link to your landing page or website. So you want that information because you can use that information for a retargeting ad later on. So you definitely want to make sure that you can use that information. And because you want to use that information, make sure that your Facebook pixel is always turned on, please. It's really very important. So I'm going to take a pause, take a sip of water as well, but I want to answer some of your questions as well. So if you have any questions about what we've covered, relevant, or I should say pertinent to Facebook and or Instagram ads in particular, please drop those in the chat. And we're just going to take a couple of questions. And Craig, if you can monitor that for me, please. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water. And it looks like we have quite a few ads. Or I'm sorry, not ads, but quite a few questions. Okay. So someone asked if I can elaborate on tools that allow you to work with messenger ads like Mobile Monkey. Those right now are free to use, and I love Mobile Monkey and ManyChat because what you can do is with messenger ads, you can actually take the time to kind of preset questions, right? So if the question is, okay, I'm selling this particular product, here are all of the most popular versions and the cost. If you want to customize, click this link, right? Or if you want us to call you, click this link. And so that interaction is completely automated for you. And guess what? Mobile Monkey is free to use, which I absolutely love. So if you just want to test that out because you've been using regular Facebook and or Instagram ads and you want to take it to the next level, especially in this day and age, then that is a great strategy to use. So I want you to just think about the fact that those are beneficial and really look at using that. Now, I just saw a question, I believe it was from Kara, but the question is, what's the sweet spot between being really specific in terms of your target audience with demographic and not being too specific? And I will answer the question. Unfortunately, you may not like the way I start out because it depends, right? It depends on your industry. It depends on your conversion process. So what I mean by that, Kara, is the fact that you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the audience. And that is something that is on the right-hand side when you're putting together your Facebook ad at the very beginning, especially with audience. And you will see that Facebook is going to give you an estimated number. I call it a guesstimate, really, because they're saying, okay, if you are choosing people that live in the United States between the ages of 18 to 65, that might be 30 or 40 million people, probably more than that, maybe 100 million people. As you add on layers in terms of your specific targeting, it's going to drop down that number. If you are looking to advertise to a local area, so just within your city, right? So just within Indianapolis or Chicago, then you would do well to just have 100 to 250,000. That's the sweet spot. That's the number that you're looking for. If you're looking to advertise to people in United States and Canada, maybe women between the ages of 40 and 65, then of course those numbers are going to be a little bit higher. And you want to make sure that you're exposing your marketing message or your ad to a large number of people, but not so large. So I like to say 750,000 to 1.2 million is the sweet spot where you can see a good conversion rate. So a good conversion rate of anywhere between 2 to 5%. If you do anything more than 5%, you are kicking on all cylinders. So make sure that you pay attention to those numbers. You can always do multiple ads, right? You can do ads for $10 and run like 3 of them for different target audiences. We have done that in the fitness niche. We have done that in the apparel niche, the makeup niche, the tutoring niche. So we will run multiple ads and see which ad actually resonates with which target audience, and that is the ad that proves itself is the one that we will actually scale. So Kara, I hope that answers your question in a short amount of time. That answer probably could be elaborated on even longer, but for the interest of time, I will have to move on, but make sure you pay attention to the audience number that Facebook gives you. Okay. So we're going to go back to our slides, and I'm going to run through how to actually set up a YouTube ad, because those ads are even less expensive than Facebook and Instagram ads. So because those ads are so good, I want to make sure that you understand how to set up a YouTube ad very quickly. And since YouTube is owned by Google, you will have to use Google Ads, right? And as you can see on the screen, it says you'll create your video ad with Google Ads. It's a pretty straightforward process. They do not have, unfortunately, the same robust type of targeting that Facebook does with Facebook and Instagram. So the categories are somewhat more limited, but because you are spending significantly less money, and it's a video which typically is more engaging, is definitely something that you may want to try if you have the budget. With that being said, let's jump right in. As you can see, you're going to give your campaign a name. Then you're actually going to select your YouTube video. Now, YouTube is actually helping people create videos to a live person if you've never run a Google or a YouTube ad. So if you do a Google search on YouTube advertising, you should be able to find the website pretty easily and a 1-800 number. And in some cases, they may be giving away still $100 ad credits to get you started. So you want to make sure that you have uploaded or implemented a YouTube video that you can use for your video ad. And as you can see, this is one of my test accounts. I have a choice of ads that I can, or videos that I can choose for my ad. So I choose a video testimonial, right? And you can see that YouTube is going to show me what my ad looks like. Now, they only charge you when someone watches the section of your video that exists before the skip ad button, right? That's when that charge kicks in. If they watch it to that point, that charge kicks in, and it's literally 1 to 2 cents. So it's not a lot of money. And then if they click through to the ad, 1 to 2 cents per click is actually a pretty good deal. So you want to answer the question, how do you want your ad to show up in YouTube? Do you want it automatically played before other YouTube videos, or do you want it placed as a thumbnail next to related videos? Now, we have tested both options, and by far, we have gotten better results when it's automatically played before other YouTube videos. And then you can actually also have your ad appear on YouTube and other Google Video Partner sites. Always choose that, because the more exposure you can get, the better off you are. Then remember, I said YouTube does not have the same type of robust targeting. So you're just going to choose target locations. And when you choose target locations, you're really looking at city, states, or country. So particularly cities, make sure that you can narrow down where you want to show your ads. So in terms of an ad budget for YouTube, I actually like to start with $25 to $50 for an ad campaign. $25 to $50 will get you hundreds of high quality views. So because of that, you want to make sure that you're choosing a video that really explains your products or service in a good light that inspires people to click through to your website or landing page to either get more information or buy something, right? So after you click through or after you select where you want to place your YouTube videos, I always suggest preview your ad on mobile because a lot of people are watching YouTube videos on their mobile device. So you definitely want to do that. Now, remember I said again, targeting locations and targeting, I should say, is not as robust. So you don't have the same specific type of audience targeting. So it's really just location and then very broad category. So you want to choose a location. You can also, as I said before, you can select a whole country to target, a state, a city, or you can do it by zip code. And then you also can select a language as well. So here are the demographics that you get to choose. So you see it's broken into gender, right? Age, parental status. And then customer intent is something that most of the time people leave alone. They're really showing, or I should say choosing gender, age, and parental status for the most part. Once you have decided your demographic, you can go in here depending on your industry. And again, let me say specifically, it depends on your industry, whether you will find your industry here. So I'm in the education niche, right? So yes, there's an option there. Again, people in law, people, lawyers, fitness, real estate will find their categories in here, fashion apparel, even plumbing is in here. Unfortunately, not all industries are in Google Ads for YouTube yet. So you have to actually make sure that you do your research to see if it's in here. If not, you're going to be advertising to a much broader group of people. Now, this is the part where you choose your daily budget. And then, as I said before, you can call for assistance with your free ad setup. And it's an actual person that you get to speak to, which I love. And they will walk you through setting up your ad campaign and even helping you record a video. And depending on your comfort level, either doing a video with just images or whether you're face to camera. Okay, now your daily budget, again, I like to start with $5 and turn that ad on for just 4 to 5 days to test it. If you are one of the fortunate people that can get a good customer service rep from Google Ads, they may offer you a $100 ad campaign when you spend $20 or more. Sometimes they give you just the ad coupon without spending anything, but it's a great way to test whether YouTube ads will work for your brand or your industry. So again, 1 to 2 cents per view. Much less expensive than Facebook and Instagram ads. And we are getting great results at this point because lots of people are watching YouTube videos right now. So even though it's a broader category, you don't have as many targeting options, you do have a very hungry audience on YouTube and people looking for not only things to do, things to watch, but also they're looking for educational content as well. So more resources to use, and I'm going to go through this really, really quickly, but if you need assistance with editing your images or creating some great looking posts for Facebook and Instagram, Canva is free to use if you're not already familiar with. Your email list is still a great way to segment your customer audience for Facebook and Instagram ads. And then a landing page, and MailChimp offers one for free. There are other landing page companies like Lead Pages that have beautiful templates that you can use, but MailChimp, if you're working on a minimal budget, is free to use. So check out those resources. Now, I'm going to turn it over to my co-presenter and my co-host, Craig, to talk about the case study, and hopefully you will find some benefit in that as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Toya. So this case study, we're going to look at a small business, the Chicago Diners Facebook page. So if you can advance to the next slide. Perfect. So this is their Facebook page. And you can see that they serve up heaping helpings of comfort food, but without the meat since 1983. They're relevant with the times, so they've shifted. So they are delivering only from 12 to 8, 7 days a week, and they're using the caviar delivery system. As well as the hours on the page on their Facebook, they also did it on their website, Twitter, and Instagram feeds. And so once again, adapting to this time as far as, hey, people can't actually come into the diner. Looking at a specific post, if you could advance, Toya. Thank you so much. So they're helping and then they're educating the audience. So they're helping with ideas for kids, and then they're educating by sharing a recipe from their cookbook. This organic post received great engagement, and so they used that, as Toya mentioned, right, to use it as advertising for specific audience with a relatively modest budget. So using that hybrid model, right? So there's times where you direct advertise, and then there's times where you kind of amplify or showcase content that people are engaging with. And then kind of what happened, if you could advance to it. They received a comment from a user who did the actual recipe. They included a picture of it, and that spawned a local television news interview, which obviously created even more traffic to the restaurant's channel, and then obviously delivery service as well. So great example of kind of what we talked about. And Toya, did you have anything else you wanted to add on this example?
Thank you, Craig. No, I didn't. What I would like to say, though, is that one of the lessons that you can take away from this is that still social media, even your organic posts, can be beneficial in getting more exposure for your brand and or business. Craig, do you have any additional comments?
That's what I had this far.
Okay, thank you. So I saw that there were a lot of questions in the chat. We are running ahead of time a little bit, so we want to make sure that this webinar is beneficial for you. So if you have a specific question, we are going to go back in the chat a little bit of ways to see if we missed any questions. But if you have a specific question, please feel free to drop it in chat at this point, and we can start answering your questions. So I'm going to actually go back, and Craig, feel free to, if you saw any questions that I missed, please let me know. But
I think there was one from Humo on count conversions.
Was there specific questions about conversion?
I think just the best way to count conversions.
Okay. So when you are looking at what your conversion rate is, you want to, again, make sure the first step is to have your Facebook pixel installed, right, on your website or landing page. Now, let me delve a little bit off of that specific question and make a recommendation. Most people, when they use Facebook or Instagram ads in the beginning, will send people to the homepage of their website. And that is, in my opinion, not a great idea. Couple of reasons. Most people have short attention spans these days when it comes to being online. So if your homepage actually is not designed in such a way that you're asking a person to take action right at the beginning, right? You may lose them as they decide they will click off to either another page on your website or just click completely off of your website. So I like to say, create a particular page on your website, right? Or create a landing page that will ask them, it looks very similar to your Facebook ad in terms of aesthetics. So colors, maybe an image that's similar but not the same image. And ask them to do one thing. If it's give you their email address or phone number, ask them to do that one thing so that you can actually gather that content before they move on. Now, the other thing is conversion rates will vary for industry in terms of Facebook ad click-through rate. So you want to make sure that, again, the average click-through rate is 2 to 5%. The average conversion rate is 1 to 2%. So you're going to have to look to see what those Facebook ad analytics are giving you to make sure that you're tweaking it correctly. Now, once you have a benchmark after about a week to 2 weeks of consistently running Facebook ads, what you want to do is you want to start testing to see if you get that number up. What do I mean by testing? I mean changing the headline if your numbers are like 0.25 or 0.01%. Then you might want to change the image or the text copy. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to improve conversion rates. So I hope that answers your question. So I am just looking from the bottom, and someone said that they have an online magazine media outlet that really targets the hip hop culture, and they function similar to a TMZ news format. Okay, and you found. So if that's the case, then video is going to be a great strategy for you to use on both Facebook and or Instagram. And before I go on answering that question, let me again say one thing. If you have not shown any ads on Instagram, if you are not even using Instagram organically to convert that traffic, please, 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 please don't ignore Instagram. People on Instagram are spending more money than they are on Facebook, and they interact with brands about 2 to 3 times more than they are on Facebook. Now, it is a younger audience, but that is changing. So think about using Instagram in your marketing mix. Now, back to your question. I'm going to suggest that you use video advertising, not only because it actually will cost you less, but it's also more engaging, and that type of content, to me, in my opinion, is best consumed via video. And you can show that video both on Instagram and or Facebook, and then have people actually go and sign up or be a subscriber to getting your content, whether it's through email or even your YouTube channel. So I believe Denise said that when you can use the same ad on Facebook and Instagram, does that mean you pay twice, or are you getting 2 ads for the same price? Thank you for that question, Denise. You are getting 2 ads for the price of 1. It's like a buy one, get one free special, right? So even though you're paying and you're setting up the ads on Facebook, what you are doing is you get to show that same ad content on Instagram for the price or the budget that you've set for the Facebook ad. So let's say you've created a Facebook video ad and you set a budget for $20 and you want that ad to run for 4 days. I'm arbitrarily picking numbers. And then when you get to the ad creative page and you see, oh, maybe you forgot. Oh, I can show this ad on Instagram. Check the box. Add your Instagram account in there, because what is going to happen is it's going to show that ad on both Facebook and or Instagram. So a perfect example is I have a client, they offer SAT prep tutoring services, right, through online courses. Even though we set up the ad on Facebook and we're showing that ad both on Facebook and Instagram, what we discovered is when we looked back at the ad analytics, right? Because you've got to look at your ad analytics to see who's clicking on your ad and where they are coming from, where they are clicking on your ad from, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or a Facebook partner site even. One ad, 99%. You couldn't even see the bar on Facebook came from Instagram, even though we showed the ad on both Facebook and Instagram. Now, what that tells you is twofold. That tells you that you probably need to be doing some organic social media marketing on Instagram, because there are people there that are enjoying your content and are interested in your products or services. But secondly, that's probably where a lot of your buyers are going to come from as well. So it allows you to do market research for the same price. So it's 2 for 1, and you get to actually do some market research from a platform that you may not be using as much. So hopefully that answers your question, Denise. And someone asked, I think Kumar, how does Canva work? Canva is almost like, it allows you to be a graphic designer, right? Without having any graphic design skills, such as myself. I can't draw to save my life. And it makes me feel good about creating really nice looking marketing content. So if you want to create a Facebook cover photo or a LinkedIn cover photo or a YouTube thumbnail image or a nice graphic for a Facebook or Instagram ad, all of those things are in Canva. And did I mention that it was free? Did I say that it was free? It is free. Now, they do have a paid option, but most things that you can do in Canva are free, and they have 1 million stock photos that you can use. So you don't have to do Google searches and, kind of figure out if it is available for use commercially. Canva, you can either pay for the images, which cost you $1, or you can use one of the free images, but their templates are amazing, and they keep all of your templates in your account so you can use them over and over again. So you don't have to hire a graphic designer if you don't want to, or if you don't have the budget to. Canva gives you the ability, again, to create really great graphics without the heavy price tag or having to learn Photoshop. So hopefully that answers your question. So it looks like Laura asked the question about free capture pages have videos, so they should be cheaper in Facebook because they are videos. Yes. As long as it is a video, a .mp4 format video, you can use that. So I would definitely guarantee you lower ad costs when you use a video, no matter how you create that video.
Kumar also asked about Google Ads being contained by state.
So yes, you can do state in terms of targeting. You can do zip code. So I'll go down the category. You can do zip code, you can do city, you can do state, you can do country. Now, based on personal experience with YouTube video ads, I would say that your best option, if you are a local business, right, and you only want to ship locally, so when I say locally, I mean within a certain zip code or city, is to either do zip code or city. If you can ship, or if you have a business that allows you to go across state lines, I would say go ahead and do country. Don't do state by state. Either do all of the United States, all of Canada, all of Australia, or what have you, or do city or zip code. It just allows for your budget to last longer. And that's just based on personal experience and testing.
One question from Maurice was just starting a social media strategic plan. What's the best way?
So the first, I think, 4 questions that you want to answer when you talk about doing a social media or digital marketing plan is you have to know who your ideal audience is, or your ideal client avatar. So literally take out, I should say, a pen and piece of paper and actually write down, okay, thinking back in my mind, who were customers that loves my products or service and raved about it to other people. Think about that and then start writing down their character traits. What gender were they? How old were they? Where did they live? What product or service that you offered did they fall in love with? So you really understand who your ideal client is. Then secondly, you have to answer the question, where are most of those ideal customers or ideal client avatars hanging out at? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on LinkedIn or Pinterest or YouTube? So pick your top 2 of where they're hanging out at, because that is where you're going to spend the majority of your time. Then the third question is, what type of content do they like the most? So when I first started in digital marketing, I loved quote images. My audience, not so much. So I was actually releasing quote images every other day, and they weren't really resonating with my audience. So I had to go and do the research to figure out what type of content they enjoyed and give them that. So that's the third strategy. The fourth thing that you want to do is you want to analyze, measure, and then scale. So what is it that is working? Because you can do more of that. And what isn't working, so you can actually eliminate or do significantly less of those things. And then rinse and repeat. You should not be doing social media advertising on more than 1 or 2 social networks at a time. Not only for budgetary reasons, but when it goes to analyzing, you want to make sure that you have very contained data sets so that you know exactly where your buyers are coming from and it's not confusing. So I hope that answers your question in the short amount of time that we have here. But there's a ton of good content online about that. And there are a couple of worksheets that if you drop your email address in the account that I can send to you as well.
One question was LinkedIn advertising. Your thoughts on LinkedIn advertising?
Don't do it yet. So in all seriousness, LinkedIn advertising is, in terms of targeting, not really very good as of yet. YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram advertising, because of their targeting, is so much better. And the things that you need to do on LinkedIn to reach your audience, you can do for free. So there's no point in using money to advertise. It's going to take you some time. You're going to need to go, because you have the opportunity to join 50 groups. And I'm going to say you need to join at least 25 groups, be active in those groups. But a little known tidbit that I don't know if all of you know, that I find helpful is you can send a LinkedIn mail message to everybody that belongs in that group that you're a part of. So if you go and join a group that has 25,000 people in them, guess what? You have now 24,999 friends you can send a LinkedIn message to. And if you do a 3 or 4 message campaign to those group of people, I guarantee you will get at least 1 or 2 customers out of that. I have. That's how I launched my business. But hopefully that answers your question. But yes, I would not do LinkedIn advertising just yet. I will wait until they got their targeting down pat.
One question on regional targeting for Facebook and Instagram. Can you group by states within the same campaign, or do you need multiple campaigns to target different grouping states?
No, you can group by states and by zip codes. So in the targeting section where it's the demographics, you can add zip codes, you can add states as well for the same ad campaign. Now, if you're using different imagery or different ad copy based upon the region or the state, that is when I would actually institute different ad campaigns for different regions or different states. But if you wanted to, with one ad, you could essentially add multiple states or multiple regions of the country. Mike actually asked the question, what is a reasonable amount to pay someone to do all of this for you? Mike, it totally depends. I've seen where people actually will charge anywhere between $250 to $1,500 to set all of this up for you and maintain it. Some people will charge a one-time fee versus a monthly maintenance package. But what I would suggest is if you find someone to do this for you, you need to make sure that they're providing you with the analytics and the reports. So you should know how many people are engaging with that ad campaign, how many people are clicking through to your website, and figure out how many people and how much it's costing you to sell something from that ad campaign. So whoever you hire, they need to be able to provide that content with you or for you. And you need to be able to have a conversation with them about what your goals are. So you need to have at least a baseline working knowledge so you can understand the jargon and you can know if it's working and when you need to revisit or tweak some things as well. So someone asked that they are new at this and don't have a web page. So if you don't have a website to speak of, you can use a landing page. Again, MailChimp, for example, has landing pages that are really very nice templates that you can take an hour and tweak. I will say that a website does legitimize your business. So once you find the time or the financial resources to hire someone, you definitely want to do at least a one-page or two-page website at the very least. But until that time comes, you can actually have a landing page. Now, if you're selling something like t-shirts or pins or an actual physical product and you don't have a website either, what you can do is actually sell products on your Facebook page. So you can add products into your Facebook fan page, or you can integrate using Woobox, which is spelled WOO, B as in boy, OX, from Pinterest to Facebook to actually create a beautiful board and just create a whole page in Facebook. So until you get a website, not instead of, but until you get a website, I probably would do one of those two things. Set up a landing page on MailChimp. Strikingly and Weebly are also good places to just create a very fast but still nice looking web page. Or you can then sell some products on your Facebook page in using just Facebook or Woobox and tie it or integrate it with Pinterest or one of the other social networking or e-commerce platforms. So, Craig, are there any other questions that are along a different category?
I did not see any others.
Okay. Okay. So, just one additional tip is if you need assistance setting some of these strategies up that we've talked about, because there's really a lot to cover and we only had a short amount of time to do that, feel free to go and visit the SCORE website in your local area, since we have people from all over the country, and set up a free 1-hour mentoring session. They have subject matter experts like myself and Craig that are also on standby to assist you. So you don't have to try to figure this stuff out by yourself late at night doing numerous Google searches and watching YouTube videos. There are people out there that can assist you regardless of what your budget is or what your technical know-how or knowledge level is. So thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking your time out to join us and hopefully learn at least 1 to 2 strategies that can help your business during this time in our nation's or in our world's history. Stay safe, stay healthy, and again, if we can be of assistance, please visit www.score.org. Thank you.